Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would just like to say congratulations to the class of 2013. You're all here because of your hard work and determination, which, in my opinion, are the two most admirable traits in the workplace. I'd like to share a very personal story with all of you. When I was little, I would wait up for my dad until all hours of the night. Being a police officer, he got home at hours that were way too late for an elementary schooler to be staying up. But I didn't care. I needed to see my dad and have our nightly talks. My dad has been my superhero since the day I was born, and I've always considered him invincible. My freshman year of high school, my dad became extremely ill very quickly. His condition was grave, and life as I knew it became uncertain. My whole world quickly shattered into small pieces that seemed impossible to put back together. I would dread going to school every morning because school was the last thing on my mind, and I felt my self-esteem became poor and I had very little confidence. Though I always did well in school, I lacked purpose and direction. At the end of my sophomore year, several guidance counselors from BOCES came to my school to speak of their programs. Since I had always had a love for fashion, my heart was immediately set on the fashion design and merchandising program. When I went to visit, I nervously shook Mrs. Tobin's hand and introduced myself. Little did I know that I was both entering the place that would transform me and meeting the woman who would become like a second mother to me. The first day of class, I was in awe of all of the different designs draped on the mannequins. Honestly, I was slightly intimidated. I was unsure as to whether I'd be capable of making such beautiful designs in only 2 years. Thankfully, through hard work and determination, I was able to create 8 outfits of my own for the fashion show. In BOCES, I learned how to turn all of my feelings into creativity. It was a therapeutic process that helped me channel my emotions into my creations. People were so different in BOCES. Mrs. Tobin cultivated a team concept of a non-judgmental classroom and staff that actually praised you for work well done. Before I knew it, I had become the person I'd always wanted to be. I developed confidence, became very outgoing, and developed a strong sense of being. I met many friends who loved me for who I was. Usually, people do not get to reinvent themselves until college. For me, and for probably most of you, BOCES was the early opportunity to reinvent yourselves. In BOCES, we've all developed skills that we otherwise would not have learned in high school. Along with the academic jumpstart, I can honestly say that we've all become like a family along the way. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be standing up here as salutatorian. This was never my goal. I simply just tried my hardest in everything I did. As I mentioned before, I simply was and still am in love with what I do, which is designing and selling clothing. I'm sure that all of you would agree in saying that once you find something you love in life, you aren't doing your work just for grades or money. You're doing it for your own sheer enjoyment. It is strange to talk about myself being a shy, introverted person, because I think everyone here would agree in the last adjective they described me as is shy. Right, Mrs. Tobin? I've also met the 4 best teachers I've ever had in my life at BOCES. Mrs. Tobin, Mrs. Buckout, Mrs. Kramer, and Miss Bass. BOCES is truly blessed to have you as members of their staff. Since the day I was born, I immediately knew how blessed I was to have so many people in my life who would genuinely do anything for me. I would like to start with the most beautiful, loving, and hardworking person I know, my mom. Mom, if I'm anything like you when I'm older, my dreams will be fulfilled. I truly believe that if the whole world was like my mom, the whole world would be perfect. Thank you for being my best friend in my life. You truly are God's gift to both the world and to me. It is no wonder why my mom is such a supportive person. She was raised by the best people I know. Grandma and Grandpa, you haven't missed an event in my whole life. Whether it be a softball game when I was 6 years old or an 8 a.m. award ceremony, you literally have rearranged your lives around mine. Thank you for being my #1 fans throughout my whole life. Nanny, I know you'd do anything to be here right now. You always joked about me being the valedictorian of my class. Well, almost. But I think you'd be happy where I ended up. I know you're in heaven looking down at me smiling. Like you always said, you're always with me no matter what. I love you and miss you so much. And to all of my other friends and family, including my brother Brian, who inspires me even though he doesn't realize it, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me. To my BOCES family, 10 years from now, I hope to see you all. Whether it is at your own restaurant, hair salon, or mechanics, I know for a fact society is getting the cream of the crop from PNW BOCES class of 2013. Congratulations once again, guys, we did it.
Good evening and welcome staff, friends, and family. I am a student in the New Visions Health Program. Today is surely a beautiful day, and I thank all of you for coming. First, I would like to thank the administration staff for making this day possible. The staff gives great hope and support to the students. I also give thanks, especially this year, to the security for protecting our school. Secondly, I thank the families and friends that came to attend this event to support their loved ones. We worked hard to be here for graduation day, so I congratulate the senior class of 2012. We are in various classes that reflect our aspirations. I am very proud of each and every one of you. Now, Mr. Lowry forgot to mention the word and quote of the day. So today, the word is journey. A journey is traveling from one place to another, usually taking a rather long time. And today's quote of the day is, "Nothing stops the person who desires to achieve. Every obstacle is simply a course to develop his achievement muscle. It is a strengthening of his powers of accomplishment." And this was said by Thomas Carlyle. Success is all a journey. We have all dealt with the dilemmas, obstacles, temptations, and changes. A journey is truly an interesting exhibition, and it is a road that we begin at birth. So let me tell you about my journey. I was born in White Plains, and I grew up in Beacon until I was about 15. Then I moved to Peekskill in my sophomore year. Moving to a new town was something that was hard for me to cope with. I constantly asked myself if anybody would like me, how would this school district differ from my old one, and how will I do the best to maintain my grades? Despite all of my worries, I stayed consistent in my work, and I began to adjust with the big move. Towards the end of my sophomore year of high school, one day my father and I were having a discussion about possible career choices of mine. I told him that I loved food, so I thought about entering a culinary class. But I let my response soak in for a few seconds and quickly realized that I love eating more so than cooking. So I wouldn't be the ideal culinary chef. After some moments of thinking, my dad said, "You know, Leah, you are caring and compassionate. You seem happy when you help others. So why not look into healthcare?" So I thought about it, I went home, and I discussed my possible interest in healthcare with my mother. She told me to try out the medical assistant program at the tech center. So in my junior year of high school, I enrolled into the medical assistant program. On the first day, I noticed that there were 2 desks for 2 teachers, Miss Pomprion and Miss Ordonez. From my desk, I noticed that Miss Pomprion had a vivid character and she was knowledgeable. Every now and then, some classmates would tell me that she was crazy, but I didn't see her that way. I saw her as being passionate in what she does. Miss Pomprion is a wonderful instructor for anybody interested in healthcare. Miss Ordonez was more laid back and very helpful whenever a student needed assistance. Together, both Miss Pomprion and Miss Ordonez created an excellent teaching environment for any class. Now, as a senior, I was accepted into the New Visions Health program. The beginning was great. The class worked hard, everybody was getting to know each other, and the teachers were kind. Miss Farlow was a caring woman who taught us the terms of medicine. Miss Collins is a spirited soul who always told the class interesting life stories, along with teaching us the structure and function of the body. And Mr. Brunelli is a clever and nimble instructor who treated the class to breakfast 2 days out of the week, every week. Thank you for bringing in breakfast for the classes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, Mr. B. As I said, I like the eating more than the food preparation. The journey to success also has its struggles, which I'm sure that all of you can relate to. As the school year took place, I received news that my grandfather had passed away on September 22nd, 2012. I was in a state of shock and sorrow, and I wasn't sure on how to come back to school with a level head. But with the support of my family and friends, I was able to stay consistent in my studies. 2 months later, I received news about another death in my family. My aunt had passed away on November 16th, and I can definitely say that these 2 passings were the greatest obstacles for me in life and as I entered my last year of high school. Time is truly precious, and I send my prayers to anybody here who has lost a loved one. Our loved ones are watching over each and every one of us, and they will forever be in our memories and here in spirit. I would also like to give thanks to both of my sisters, Maya and Shanae, who have been my #1 motivators through a year that truly tested my willpower and my strength. Now, as the graduation begins, I just want my senior class to know that walking across this stage is an honor, and we have all worked extremely hard to be here. I anticipate seeing all of you smile as you shake the hands of the members of our board who have represented our school respectively. My journey is one that teaches me lessons, helps me grow, and remain humble. I thank all of you for listening, and once again, congratulations to the senior class of 2012. We did it.